Yo guys, what is going on? It is your boy Burke Crown coming at you with another YouTube video. We're desperately waiting for NHL 25, and in the meantime, we are going over the top 10 at each position. We did left wing, we did right wing, we are going to save center, and we are going to go to goalies. And now the main purpose of this video is to not only show you the top 10 at their positions for franchise and online versus, but it's to also discuss what overall they could have at their position in Hut. Now, when it comes to goalies, the first thing and the most important thing that I want to stress is the overall does not matter. The goalie itself does not matter. If there is a goalie name you like, take that player. If there is a team you like and you want to use that team. If you are in the situation where you figure goalies are as terrible as they can be, or goalies are really important to have one or the other, I can assure you they are not. I had Dominik Hasek, played better than Tikkanen. I had Dominik Hasek, played better than Martin Brodeur, and then I had Johnny Bower, played better than Dominik Hasek. So it doesn't matter height, overall, size, none of that matters. It matters about the defense in front of you. Now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look at these top 10 at the last 4 years, right? Starting with the current year that we're running into, which is 25, but we will get into that list later. We got 25 and 24. Now 24, pretty much identical to 25, right? You got Vasilevsky, you got Sorokin, you got Shesterkin, you got Hellebuyck, you got Ullmark, right? You got Bobrovsky, you got Ottinger, you got Soros. Like, it's pretty much, you'll get the area where you have a couple goalies slide in and a couple goalies slide out. Like Bobrovsky's making 25. Makes sense. They want a Stanley Cup. But as for the list, it doesn't change much. Let's go into the past Hut cards on these players in the top 10 of NHL 25 and where I think they're going to go. And we're going to start with the Boston duo that is no longer a Boston duo anymore. And we're going to start with Linus Ullmark. And the reason this is awesome is because, one, Linus Ullmark is in Ottawa. It's going to be fun to play him all the time, just like it was in Boston. But two, Boston thought they had something here with Swayman that is going to just be a sign and we're done, giving up the best duo in the league, and then Swayman doesn't sign and he is wanting 10 million. So it's kind of you got rid of the best goalie tandem. It's kind of funny, but let's get into it. Okay, so because we're starting this with Ullmark, we will just get right after it. Ullmark in 22 was an 83. Ullmark's always been a decent goalie to use. See a lot of people use him, mainly Boston fans, but he was an 83 in 22, dropped down to an 82 in 23, and then he climbs back up to an 84 in 24. And well, now I think the 83 is as true overall. I think you're going to see Ullmark go back to an 83. 84 is a little high in my opinion. He is a good tandem with Swayman, but I think 82 is definitely too low. 84 is a little aggressive. I think they dial it back to 83, which will be a nice starting point. Now, when it comes to Swayman, the second part of the Boston goaltending, that is maybe going to be the only goaltender in Boston, or not even in Boston. We're going to have to wait and see. But Swayman in 22 was an 80 overall. He was an 82 overall in 23, and an 82 overall in 24. I think that's a good starting point. So Swayman will stay at an 82 overall, and we'll see his growth from there if he even signs. Hopefully he doesn't, and we get to see what Boston pieces together in their net. But hey, we got 83 for Ullmark, 82 for Swayman. What else do we got? Now we're going to move on to UC Saros. 83 in 22, 85 in 23, and an 84 in 24. Now 83, definitely a really low starting point. If they went back to 83, it wouldn't be crazy. And 85 is definitely a high starting point for a goalie. It takes a special goalie to be an 85. It takes a special player to be an 85 or an 86 starting point. And then an 84 is where I think they had him, and I think that's a good place for him to stay. I feel like UC Saros is going to be a good goalie at 84. I think he stays in 84. Just nice, clean, it's a good number for him to be at. Ilya Sorokin. Here is a goalie that moves all over the top 10. And he's good prospect. He's got great talent. He plays well, but then he plays not well, right? He has good stints. He has bad stints. Young goalies do that. He went from an 81 to an 84 to an 85. The 81 is way too low. The 84 and the 85 are great progression through the potential and how he played for a couple of years. He signed a big contract, but I think he comes down, and I think we see Sorokin at an 83. I think that's a perfect spot for him this year, especially after last year's performance, and I think an 83 would be a good starting ground, and if he does kick things off in a great way, you're going to see him drift up from there, but, we need a good starting base, and I think progression is still going to come down a little bit. Now, as for Bob, all right, this one I thought about for a little bit. He won a Stanley Cup, right? Bob's never really got some love. Never really got love. 82 in 22, 83 in 23, and 82 in 24. Not really a lot of love going Bob's way. I think this is his year. Not only with winning the Stanley Cup, but getting on the top 10. I think Bob goes to an 84 overall. He deserves it. He was a big part of the Stanley Cup run. Florida was a great team, and he's been a big signing, which when he signed there was a lot of controversy to it. But in Hut, I think Bob could be utilized very well. He's that goalie that either appears to always be really good or really bad. And now why that's an important statement is because remember, goalies are off of the defense in front of them. So if the goalie's appearing really good, it's because the guy's playing really good defense. If the goalie's appearing really bad, it's because he's giving up a lot of shots. Bob is a goalie that can be good. He's got to play well in front of him. Jake Ottinger. Jake Ottinger is a goalie that has been climbing up aggressively. He went from an 81 in 22 to an 83 in 23 to an 84 in 24. Now, where's a good path for him to go? I think it's to stay at 84. I think 81 to 84 in 2 years is a massive jump. I don't think he gets another one. I think Ottinger stays at an 84, and we're just going to see from there. Maybe he gets himself into that 85 category in 26, but in 25, he's definitely staying at an 84. Now, Demko. Demko, I think, rode the roller coaster of the EA, hit or miss, love-hate relationship, because, as you know, EA is a Vancouver-based company, and, they get a lot of, ups and downs with those teams. So, in 22, Demko had an 83. He was a highly touted prospect, highly touted goalie, and he would look like he has a great future ahead of him. And then after 22, we get into the 23 season, and, he has an 85. Great card. There's a high on Demko, very high up on Demko. And then they had a tough season, bringing him down to an 82 in 24. So what does this mean for Demko? Well, I think the EA roller coaster of Demko is back as they bring him all the way up the top 10, putting him in 4th. High opinion, I think that brings him up to an 84. Maybe it's an EA biased, but that's what I'm thinking. Now, when it comes to Vasilevsky, this one is one that is going to be of age and just league longevity. We've seen it with Ovi. I talked about it with Ovi. As you get older, as maybe your play doesn't decline, but it's not as sharp as it once was. Vasilevsky was an 86 in 22, moved to an 87 in 23, and then he dropped down to an 84 in 24. Now, that's a part of his game declining a little bit. Vasi's still an unbelievable goalie, but his game is declining. You can see it. And then part of slowing down progression was Vasi dropping down to an 84. Now, I think if it was just slowing down progression, he should have been an 86 or an 85. But this aggressive drop shows that they know he's kind of fallen off. And I think they drop it one more time and he becomes an 83 overall. Nothing against Vasi, but he is getting up there in age and in games played. And, you can see it. And I think that decline keeps happening. It's the same decline we're seeing with Ovi and even a little bit of Crosby, but we will get into that in another video. Igor Shesterkin. All right. This one we're just going to cut to the chase. 83 overall in 22, 86 overall in 23, 85 overall in 24. That progression slowdown. That's what I was talking about with Vasilevsky, right? If it was going to slow down from 87, he should have went to an 86 or an 85, but he dropped down to an 84. Shesterkin only dropped down to an 85. He only went down by 1 overall. Now, I think that's a slow down progression. At the same time, I don't think he drops any farther. He stays at an 85, and he is one of the highest overall goalies in the game. Now, as we look at Connor Hellebuyck, he's moved, but he had an unbelievable year. And with that, I think you're going to see the reward here. So Hellebuyck is an 85 in 22, an 85 in 23, and then he drops down in 24 to an 83. Well, this, I think, comes back, and he moves up to an 84 in 25, making him a little better. But Hellebuyck's always been that goalie that I find I have trouble with against the AI. I don't know if it's the way the AI plays or what it is, but I always feel like he's a good goalie in squad battles and stuff. But we'll have to wait and see what he's like in 25 because I'm excited for it. But I think he definitely moves up to an 84, but still leaving Shesterkin as our number 1 goalie at 85 overall. That is my list of the top 10 and who I think is going to be what for their Hut values. But again, guys, remember, it is very crucial. The defense in front of your goalie, not so much the goalie itself. That number, yes, can make a difference from time to time. But if you give a goalie 10 shots in high danger zones, they're going to be scoring 5 goals, right? Your goalie might bail you out a couple of times, but it's the defense in front of them that makes them look good. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. Until next time, ciao, ciao.